Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's hop right back into the thick of it, as everyone knows. Uh, Shadeur Sanders. It's seeming like he might end up sliding. I saw a couple reports by Pro Football Focus writer Mason Cameron and the Athletics writer Nick Bumgardner. They both believe Shadeur Sanders will slide to the back half of the first round. I know that's crazy to say. He was a top 5 prospect, it felt like all year long. And now reports are starting to come out that he could fall all the way to 21 with the Steelers, as Cameron and Bumgarner both had the Steelers taking Sanders with their 21st overall pick, which, as Steelers fans, that sounded more and more enticing. That's how we like to see it right there. I'm sure Dion would be all on board with Shadeur going to a winning environment like Pittsburgh. I know that's been a big thing they've been pushing for with Shadeur in this draft process. It just seems like he wants to go somewhere where he can win now already. I know you usually don't get to decide that as a rookie quarterback coming into the league, but maybe with Deion Sanders, it puts too much pressure on some of those top 10 teams to take someone like Sanders, which people are now believing. I've been kind of putting it out there for the past couple weeks, or the past week, that Shadeur could slide possibly. And now people are guessing it. People are predicting the Shadeur slide to come inbound. As I said, GMs get real weird during draft time. Any little instance could make them be like, nope, that's not our guy. That's not our guy anymore. So it's seeming like that could break our way. They both think Shadeur isn't really that good of a talent to where he fixes a bad team, but if he lands in a team that's a work in progress like the Steelers, that has pieces set up around him already, like George Pickens, like DK Metcalf, that he could really produce well in his first year. I really think with our offense, he could be the quarterback of this draft. If he lands in Pittsburgh, he's going to have a great career, I do believe, just because of the weapons we have around him. And he's one of those guys, even if the offensive line struggles, he's gonna be able to extend plays. So he has the legs to make it happen. If the offensive line struggles, he extends the plays, he gets the ball downfield. He was actually graded one of the best passers of the ball beyond the sticks coming into this draft process. So that is big news for us Steelers fans. If Sanders slides, this could be a whole different team we're looking at next year, and we could actually win a playoff game here soon if Sanders ends up in the building. And they're saying we could take Sanders even if Rodgers comes to town, which I'm a big fan of. Not Rodgers coming to town, but just sticking with a quarterback in the draft. Even if Rodgers comes to town, I've been thinking that's the idea the Steelers have, but I'm just glad other people are putting it out there too right now that Rodgers is not going to be the only solution to this offense if he does sign. But I think Sanders in the black and yellow, I think that's going to be a great fit if he can just slide. I am really scared of the Raiders at 7 taking someone like Sanders just because of the Tom Brady factor that Tom's there. And him and Sanders already kind of have a connection. He called Sanders a TB12 player. He's an athlete, TB12 athlete, I'm pretty sure. But let's move on to another prospect as the Steelers hosted a first-round defensive lineman, Shamer Stewart from Texas A&M. This dude is an athletic freak. I think he's built for the next level. The only issue he really showed in his college career was his lack of sack production. He only had 4.5 career sacks in college, which is ridiculously low. You don't like seeing that at all. But there are good signs that he can develop. He has all the intangibles right now to develop really well. And with our defensive line, with our defensive veterans up front with TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, I think that would be a great fit to bring in someone like Stewart. I don't know. I mean, if Sanders does fall to 21, you're not getting Stewart. Sanders has to be the pick. But Stewart would be a solid pick. I don't think that really addresses any real team need, though. I mean, teams always need backup pass rushers. Pass rushers are one in a million in the NFL. You always need them. that's a dire position. You gotta be able to pressure the quarterback, which he does very well. He just struggles finishing off with sacks on those plays. He just doesn't seem to end the play pretty well. But that's something you can develop in the league. And Mike Mayock thinks with time he can develop into a great, great player, and he thinks in the Steelers system would benefit him like very favorably. But let's move on to one of our re-signings here as the Steelers just re-signed an offensive lineman, Calvin Anderson, to a 2-year deal. Nothing major. I'm waiting for the day I can come in here and be like, the Steelers signed Aaron Rodgers. Not today. Just a small re-signing right now. Calvin Anderson for 2 years. He played 4 games last year. We signed him last September. He played 4 games. He left for injury, got put on IR. That seemed to be what was happening to every offensive lineman we had last year. He filled in for injury. He left with injury. But Anderson adds a nice depth piece to this offensive line. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Just a solid all-around move. I think the experience he already has benefits the team too. So I like re-signing Calvin Anderson. I don't think we'll see him much unless there's more injuries next year, which is always a possibility up front on that offensive line. But let's finish this episode off today with the major brewing question right now. Marlon Humphrey, put it out there. I know he's a Ravens player. We don't want to talk about Ravens players too much, but I do got to give him credit for this amazing take. He said the Steelers should bring back the Bumblebee jerseys, and absolutely, I'm completely on board. Bring these bad boys back. These are my favorite jerseys of all time. He said they're the best jerseys of all time. I have to agree with him 100% there. Those are the best jerseys I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know not a lot of other fan bases are on board with that, but as Steelers fans, let me know in the comments if you guys rock with the Bumblebees jerseys as hard as I do, because I'd love to see us rocking those black and those black and yellow stripes once again. It would be just beautiful to watch us on the field in those jerseys one more time. And I just believe those Bumblebee jerseys has always been a good sign. They've been a good omen whenever we have those on, it feels like. As we are only 4-2 in them, but I feel like there's just a couple dominant wins we've had over them, and the major one in my head sticks out in my childhood is when Big Ben threw for 6 touchdowns in those jerseys against the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm all on board with bringing back the Bumblebee jerseys. We have 4 alternate options next year. We don't know what they are, but the NFL does allow now for 4 different alternate options. Let's put the bumblebees back in our bag because those things are beautiful and just chef's kiss to the NFL world. But let me know in the comment sections what you think on the bumblebee jerseys or if you think there's another jersey we should bring back just instead. But this has been this episode of Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Dennis, and I will see you tomorrow.